Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Tuesday, June 9th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps, which are up 0.4%. It's a nice positive morning. We're seeing some nice gains again this morning. Sentiment remains positive. You know, President Trump apparently told Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu that a breakthrough in the Iranian deal is close. So, you know, that's why they did stop that hostile actions on both sides yesterday. So that's kind of positive. And you're still seeing, some, green across the board in the tech sector, which is nice. On the geopolitical front, China is preparing a $295 billion plan to fund a nationwide AI build-out. That's pretty big. I mean, our company are spending more money, but this is a big build-out, and that's going to be positive for these AI stocks. U.S. also came out and said that Baidu and Alibaba, they added those firms to the list of firms with military ties. On the economic calendar, existing home sales reports after the opening bell. That's the key one coming out today. In corporate news, OpenAI confidentially filed an S-1, so they're preparing to go public. Senator Warren invited NVIDIA's CEO to testify at the Senate Banking Committee hearing, which is scheduled for June 11th, but he declined. Part of the issue here is that, she said, you got to tell me by today. And, it's almost like she didn't want him to come. You're talking about the CEO from one of the world's largest companies. Their schedule is pretty booked. Sorry, Senator Warren. But we got a lot of conferences going on today, like, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citibank. They're all speaking today at the Morgan Stanley Financial Conference. Then you got Aviva, Amgen, Merck, Bristol Myers. They're all speaking at the Goldman Sachs Healthcare Conference. And then you got Tower Semiconductor, SanDisk, Salesforce, Global Payments, Synopsys. They're all participating at the Mizuho Technology Conference. So, we keep an eye out for some announcements from these companies. In terms of shareholders meetings, Warner Brothers, TJ Maxx, Rigetti Computing, CME, Ultra Beauty, and Etsy, they're all having shareholders meetings today. On the earnings front, SJM is higher after earnings. SailPoint and United Foods are trading lower after their releases. But after the bell today, we got Casey and General Stores, CASY. That's going to be a big mover. And tomorrow morning, we got Chewy, CHWY. They're expected to release their results. Okay, let's take a quick look over in Europe, and we get the DAX up 103 points. That's up, 0.42%. It was up much higher, but we're still seeing gains in financials and semiconductors. The FTSE's lower by 25 points at 0.24%. The UK's retail sale data increased more than expected in May, but it's kind of being weighed. That index is being weighed down by healthcare, weakness in healthcare this morning. France and Paris, the CAC is up 0.67%. Semiconductors are advancing. But you got to remember, in Europe, that tone is starting to shift because they have an ECB meeting coming up on Thursday, and the markets are typically muted going into those events. So I don't expect a whole lot of volatility for the rest of the day today in Europe or tomorrow until that ECB announcement is announced. Okay, let's take a look at Asia overnight, and we got the Nikkei that jumped 1,392 points. That's 2.17%. Strong gains in semiconductors. Hong Kong, the Hang Seng fell 91 points at 0.37%. Okay, tech stocks advanced, but there was weakness in financial, retail, and energy stocks. Shanghai in China was up 1.28%. Chinese exports rose 19.4% year over year in May. That accelerated from 14.1% in April, which, those numbers really exceeded market expectations for a slowdown in growth, but it just didn't happen. Okay, now let's take a look at oil this morning. And oil is trading lower. We got WTI at $89.28 a barrel, down 2.21%. We got Brent at $92.58 a barrel, down 1.71%. I mean, hey, it's the easing of geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. It's renewed expectations of a breakthrough in the talks between the U.S. and Iran. These are the key factors. You open up the Strait of Hormuz, That's going to be key. It hasn't happened yet, but the anticipation is really causing the weakness in oil prices this morning. Okay, let's take a look at on the earnings front and see what we see. We got to start off with SailPoint, which is ticker SAIL. Stock is lower by 12.10%. They beat by a penny and higher revenue. Guidance was just okay. SJM, Smucker's Jam, they beat by 13 cents. They did that on higher revenue. That stock's up 4.17% this morning. Upcoming after the bell, we got Casey Stores, Casey General Stores, CASY, Charlie Apple, Sam Yellow. They're expected their EPS to come in at $3.39. Expected move is 8.60%. Wow, that's big. Okay, in terms of economic reports, International Trade Goods and Services comes out at 8:30 a.m. 10 a.m. we get the existing home sales report. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some of these stocks that are moving this morning. And, Apple had its... did what we expected yesterday. It was up like $6 ahead of the WDC conference and Tim Cook's keynote speech, and then it sold off. And it's down a little bit this morning. It's down 0.78%. And the takeaway from the WDC is positive as they work to accelerate AI by third parties. This is actually a good move because they're not spending the capital to be building it themselves. They're looking for the third parties to build it out for them. And so consequently, you're not seeing this enormous AI spend that you're seeing with Google, that you're seeing with Amazon, that you're seeing with Meta. Apple's letting those guys do the spend for them. Probably makes a lot of sense. Amazon, the FCC grants Amazon an extension on the LEO satellite deployment. Remember, this is going to provide competition for Starlink, so it's actually positive for Amazon, this news. You look at the Amazon stock this morning, and it's up, a little over $1 this morning. Meta Platforms, META, they came out and they announced that they're launching Workforce Academy to train workers to build data centers, Stock's up 1.14% this morning. Okay, in terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, Senator Warren invited NVIDIA CEO to the Senate Banking Committee hearing on June 11th. She said he had to reply the same day, and he declined, obviously. OpenAI submitted their confidential S1. It looks like they're going public soon. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Citibank, BAC, they're all going to be speaking today at that Morgan Stanley conference. Keep an eye on the banks. In terms of merger news, Paramount's $81 billion takeover of Warner Brothers WBD faces UK antitrust regulatory review. This is going to be key for them. GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, Beckham, they're going to buy Nuvalent for $10.6 billion, a 40% premium for their cancer push. Okay, let's talk about guidance news. SAIL, SailPoint, backs their full year 2027 EPS view of 30 to 34 cents. Street estimates 32 cents, right in line. United Foods International, they see full year adjusted EPS coming in 240 to 260. Street estimate has it at 250. Just okay. Smucker's, SJM, they see full year 2027 EPS coming in $9.75 to $10.25. Street estimates $9.11 billion. That's an uptick. Shareholders meetings today: Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD, TJ Maxx, TGX, Rigotti Computing, RGTI, CME Group, CME, Ultra Beauty, ULTA, and Etsy, ETSY, all having shareholders meetings today. Let's move on and let's go to our stock of the day. And, I'm going to go with Baidu this morning, BIDU. I'm hoping to get in. Listen, that recent designation about them being added, to the U.S. blacklist, it's not going to affect their operations at all. And the company came out and said so. So, there might be some. I'm hoping that I'm going to see a little negative activity this morning down to the 119 area. If that happens, I got to walk in, and that's kind of my pick for today. You look at yesterday's call volume: 19,349 calls versus 13,915 puts. It's a 0.71 put-to-call ratio. That's in the positive range. And the major brokers that are out there, well, the brokers that are out there are positive on the stock. But I just think that if there's some weakness this morning due to that new designation, that could cause some weakness this morning, which I think would be an opportunity. So I'm going to say Baidu, BIDU, 119 area. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a look at the stories that are hitting the tape in the last 15, 20 minutes or so. See what we see. NICE, ticker NICE, launches AI Innovation Lab, NICE Labs. BP's got some leadership announcements going on today. British Petroleum. Blue Owl, OWL, they're opening up an office in Abu Dhabi. Smucker's Jam sees full year 27 free cash flow $1 billion. Ooh, that's nice. Fresh Del Monte changing the name to Del Monte Corporation and ticker to DMC. It's right now FDP. It's still a really tough business. Perplexity is planning a 2028 IPO regardless of Anthropic or OpenAI listings. Amgen to present this morning at the Goldman Sachs Global Healthcare Conference at 9:20. Lilly's going to participate in a fireside chat at 3:20 p.m. at the same conference. SiriusXM, SIRI, they're going to be replacing Massimo, ticker MASI, in the S&P 400 effective 6/11 due to a takeover. ECL, Edward, Charlie, Larry, Bank of America added Ecolab to its U.S. #1 focus list. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Let's move on. Let's talk about our pick of the day from yesterday. Listen, I went with Pfizer yesterday. Stock's trading up, this morning. But it was essentially a flat trade. It really didn't do much yesterday. The call volume was through the roof yesterday. I mean, it was like 190,000 calls. The day before it was 90,000. It's still very positive. Something's going on. I can't put my finger on it, but it's still a positive trend that I like to see. But Pfizer was flat yesterday. Trade didn't work out, but that's okay. It didn't fall apart either. So, Pfizer's still one to keep an eye on. All right, traders, that concludes today's podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.